It's Saturday afternoon in Pompano Beach, Florida, and I'm heading to the Harrahs Casino to play a 5-10 session. The last time I played here was a few days ago, and I lost huge. It was a 10-25 game. I lost around $8,000, so I'm trying to get that back tonight. I also made my first car payment on my brand new Audi A3, so that's another small downswing. I head into the casino, up to the poker room. Let's get started. Unlike the game I played 2 days ago, this is a 5-10 game, $3,000 max, and then you can add on if you're losing. I've got pocket queens first hand. There's a raise to 35. I 3-bet to 125. My opponent makes the call. Out of position to a king 3-3 board. I check. He checks back. Turn card's a 9. I bet out $100, and my opponent makes the call. River card's a 7, and I decide to go for thin value against pocket 10s, a 9x hand, an unbelieving pocket pair. I make it $300 before my opponent, now on the button, re-raises me to $1,100. I don't think he's getting out of line here. I don't think he's doing this with a King X holding. Probably either has a slow played 3, maybe pocket 9s, maybe pocket 7s. Don't think he's bluffing taking this line, especially once I bet pretty big on this river. So I fold my hand, and he does show a 7, and says he got lucky on the river with pocket 7s for a full house. The next couple hands are big ones. First one starts off when I get dealt in pocket kings. I raise to 75. Cutoff player makes the call, and we go heads up to queen 10-3 rainbow. A great flop for pocket queens. I bet out $100, and my opponent makes the call. Turn card, king. Obviously a great card for my hand, giving me top set, but I don't really like this card. It brings in 2 straights, ace jack and jack 9. It's also harder to get value from a queen X hand now, like queen jack or ace queen, but I'm going to continue to bet. I make it $225. Over to my opponent, who decides to put chips in the middle, but he's putting more chips than I put in the middle. He raises up to $495. Pretty interesting spot, because when he raises here, he's representing a very strong hand, most likely a straight. I think he would probably raise some 2 pairs and sets on the flop sometimes. If I have 2 kings in my hand and 1 on the board, it's less likely that he has a king queen or a king 10 hand. Kind of a close spot. Should we just try to get this all in? Should we call and allow him to keep betting worse hands? Maybe he's got a straight. I feel like the best option here is just to call, try to boat up on the river, but I don't think I'm ever going to be folding this hand. I mean, I have the 3rd best hand you can get. If he's got a straight, he's probably just going to get my money. Hoping he's got a worse hand, like 2 pair, smaller set. I make the call, going to the final card, which is the 8 of hearts. I don't improve to a full house, but I get an idea that maybe I could lead out here on the river and still get called by worse hands. Queen 10, queen 3, pocket 3s, king queen, king 10. But if he raises me on the river, I can just fold my hand knowing that he's got me beat. So I decided to go with that plan. I lead out now for $550, hoping he doesn't raise, hoping he calls, but that doesn't happen. He does raise to an all-in sizing of $2,000. It's about $1,500 more for me to call. Super frustrated in this hand. I've already put in so much money. Could we be beat here by a straight? Is he doing this with a worse hand? I don't know. I do want you guys to pause the video now. Let me know what you would do in the comments below. Would you call here with top set of kings, or would you hear a fold, take your time, pause the video? Okay, now that you're back, I decided my hand's too strong. I got a call. Let's see it. I show pocket kings for top set, and he shows ace jack for the nuts. Ugh, that sucks. That's exactly what I thought. It's possible he could have, and I get stacked. Over $3,000 lost in this hand. I guess I could have gotten away from this one. He showed so much strength. He was probably never bluffing. My top set of kings was probably not good. We're down over $3,000 within the first 20 minutes. After losing $8,000 2 days before, I'm definitely on tilt now after getting stacked my second hand. Ace king this time, there's a couple limps. I raise to 75 and get 2 callers. Go 3 ways to a king 6-7 board. Sometimes out of position, I'll be betting here with top pair, top kicker, and sometimes I'll check. This time I decided to check, and the action checks all the way around. Turn card's a 9. Checks to me, I make it 125, and I get 1 caller. River card's a 10. Ugly run out. There's a lot of 2 pairs. Any 8 makes a straight. I check. My opponent bets 325. Nasty spot again for us. I use my kill button and fold. That means I can see his cards 1 time per session. He shows 8-9 for a straight on the river. We lose another one. 3 for 3 now for losses. Even though I've been playing poker for almost 6 years now, I'm still not immune to the tilt that creeps up. When you sit down with a session, you feel good, you're ready to play after losing big 2 days before, and then you just get crushed and lose every single hand. It really does kind of mess with your mind. It makes the game super tough to deal with. I mean, you just want to come in, make some good hands, get paid off, and win money. But you can never predict how the poker gods are going to treat you. Today, they are treating me pretty bad. I'm down like $3,500, $4,500. I keep thinking about the $8,000 loss I had the day before. Pretty frustrating spot. And then that leads us into the hand of the night when I get dealt in pocket queens on the button. There is 2 calls for $10. I raised a 75. Small blind, the guy who got me with ace-jack against my pocket kings makes the call, and the other limpers make the call. 4 ways to 10-5-6 rainbow. It checks to me. Most likely we want to be betting our hand here. It can get value from a lot worse hands. I make it 175. And now the guy who stacked me earlier with ace-jack bumps it up to $500. The rest of the players make the fold, and the action's back over on me. Now, this player, since he's won that big pot off me, has not played many hands. Doesn't seem like he wants to get out of line. He's playing pretty tight, but I've got an overpair on a 10-high board. I'm going to make the call and see what happens on the turn, which pairs the board. Honestly, I feel like this is a great card. Doesn't bring in any straights. It's less likely now he's got pocket 6s or 5-6 because there's another one on the board. Now, the small blind, though, does not slow down. He continues for a $1,500 bet. This is a rather large bet for this game. You don't normally see these $1,500 bets on the turn very often. When he's betting this sizing, he's representing hands like aces, kings, pocket 10s, pocket 5s, pocket 6s, 5-6, all sorts of really strong hands. Can't really think of too many bluffs in his range. It is possible he could be going wild with a 10x hand like ace 10, jack 10, queen 10. That's a little unlikely. Maybe he's got pocket jacks and feels like they're good because it's an overpair to the board. I can't be folding my pocket queens just yet on this board, even though this guy's been playing pretty tight. He hasn't gotten out of line. I really don't want to get stacked by him again. I make the call for $1,500. Huge pot brewing here. Final card is a jack. I hate this card. Now I'm losing to pocket jacks. And my opponent in the small blind jams all in. I've got around $2,500 left in my stack, and I just want to throw up on the table. This is disgusting. Before this hand, I was down over $4,000. It seems like every single time someone puts in a big bet in this game, they just always have it. I've talked about this before. I lose big with my single pair hands in this game because I never feel like I can fold against these players. I have no idea what to do here with pocket queens. It's still an overpair, but he's representing such a strong hand. The last time my opponent did this and went all in, he had the nuts. I feel like I'm just going to have to give him credit here that we're beat, so I reluctantly fold my pocket queen. Somebody else at the table uses their kill button, and we get shown the bluff. Ace king offsuit for ace high, and we just miss out on winning a massive pot. Folding pocket queens. Oh my god. I'm officially on tilt. There really isn't much worse things to happen to you when you're down money. All you had to do was click the call button and you'd be back to even, and you make a bad fold. I'm trying to get my money back now and raise ace-jack offsuit to $50. There's a call. Then a later position player 3-bets me to $175. Not going to get my money back if I fold. So I call. Other player calls. 3 ways to an ace, jack, king board. 2 pair for us. The action checks all the way around. The turn card's another club, so now I have 2 pair and a jack high flush draw. I bet out $300. Player next to act makes the call, And now the initial re-raiser, the 3-better in late position, puts in a raise to $1,200. Man, I am just in the blender all day today, just getting beat up like I'm in a washing machine. Man, I don't know what to do. I've got 2 pair, jack high flush draw. Did he check back a set on the flop? Did he flop a straight? Does he have a flush? I feel like with the price I'm getting, I could boat up. I can maybe hit a flush if he does have a straight. So I make the call for $1,200. The other player folds. Another big pot here, going to the final card, which is the 4 of clubs. I make a flush. I check over to him. He instantly checks back and shows pocket aces for top set. We win this one with the jack of clubs for a flush. And finally, I get lucky for a change and win a decent pot. Although we did get lucky in this hand, I'm still in the game for $12,000, sitting now with an $8,000 stack. If you're good at math, you know that that's still a $4,000 loss, but don't you guys worry, we do have some bigger pots coming up next. A new player comes to the game and likes the seat that I'm sitting in, so I volunteer to move over to the other side of the table so he can have this seat, and I get dealt in ace queen of clubs, button straddles to 25, small blind calls. I raise to 100 and both of my opponents make the call. 3 ways to queen 5-6. Small blind checks. Button player is the guy who's won 2 huge pots off me and just tried to bluff me and successfully bluffed me with ace king. I decided to check now because he had been losing a lot of pots and seemed to be splashing around and maybe tilting a little bit. He does bet out $300 on this flop. He's got around $2,000 left. Because he could be steaming, I just raise right away to $800 and he makes a very quick snap call. Turn pairs the board. It's a 6. It's like deja vu against this guy. I'm taking my time. I already know that I'm going to be jamming all in, but I want him to think that I'm contemplating my options if I want to bet or check. And while I'm thinking this through, I haven't acted yet. My opponent just jams all in, out of turn. I haven't checked, I haven't bet. The rules are that if someone bets out of turn and the action stays the same, that bet must stand. So I now check, his bet must stand that he's all in. I snap call, we run out this board one time to the 4 of hearts on the river. Because he went all in, he's got to show first, and he shows king 5 for just a pair of 5s. Ace queen is going to beat the 5, and we finally win a pot after getting crushed all night, and it feels better too to win this pot off my nemesis. He stacked me earlier with a set, he then bluffed me crazy with ace king. Finally we win a big pot. We're in the game for $12,000. Now we're only down about $3,000 on the day. Still kind of rough, but at least the chips are coming in my direction. We're getting a little bit back, and we've got one more big hand to end the night. We're playing 6-handed. The night is almost over. I raise to 75 with pocket aces. Nice. Small blind calls 75. Big blind calls 75. Straddle player goes all in. $900 all in. Holy crap. I know it's late, but I have to make sure this is real. I look over at a stack, look at the dealer, and yes, it's confirmed. He is all in for $900. The dream spot with aces. You raise, get 2 callers, someone just goes all in. Now, the players behind me have a lot of money to play for. One player's got over $10,000. Another player's got around $8,000. I've got about $10,000 in my stack. The question now is, do I re-raise this $900 bet, or do I just call? Given the fact that I've got aces in position, I'm okay with going multi-way with such a strong hand while I'm in position, so I just make the call, hoping maybe it'll allow someone else in there in the pot, but that doesn't happen. Small blind folds, big blind folds, and we're heads up here around $2,000 in the middle with pocket aces. The first of 2 flops comes out pretty safe. The turn is an ace, giving me top set. I feel like we're going to win this one. The second board comes out with a jack and a queen on it. My opponent shows the king of clubs, and that is not good enough to beat aces. We don't see his other card, and we end up winning another decent-sized pot, around $1,000 worth of profit. Shortly after this, the game ends up breaking. After 8 hours of playing, I was stuck heaps of money. I didn't get quite back to even, but we did put a dent in the downfall. I end up racking up my chips, heading to the cage, and cashing out for the night. Never in my life would I think that I would have a monthly car wash membership, but I pay 10 to 20 bucks a month or something like that. I get free unlimited car washes. I get free vacuums. Got to do it though, because got to keep this car looking nice. As for yesterday's session at Harrahs Pompano Beach, I got to say, it was not a good one. It was a pretty rough session. I had two big spots that really cost me. I turned top set at Kings. My opponent raised me. I let out on the river. He jammed, and I called it off knowing that I was probably beat, and I was. He had a straight. That was pretty tilting, big cooler. Then against the same opponent, he check raised me again. I had pocket queens. I called the turn. He jammed the river, and I made a hero fold with pocket queens, and he was bluffing with ace king. Super frustrating. It's so frustrating in poker when you make the wrong call and you're super tilted, you lost your whole stack, and then they're just trying to give it back to you, and all you have to do is just hit the call button, and you can't do it. That happened to me yesterday. It was very, very frustrating. At one point, I was down like $5,000. I did get some back. I ended up losing around $2,800 on the day, so I guess it could have been worse. But it was a very, very frustrating session. Very annoying when you get into those spots where you're like, I know I'm beat, I got top set of kings, and you still call, and then I had pocket queens. I should have just called. I don't know why I folded. I guess I just didn't want to pay him off again, didn't feel like he was bluffing. Did get into some interesting pots after that, got pocket aces, somebody jammed all in, won some small pots, but somewhat of a rough session. Like I said, it could have been worse though. Only $2,800 worth of a loss. As you can see, I've got my golf polo on, my golf hat. We're going to hit the links today. Trying to have some positive perspective that even though poker sucks sometimes, even though poker is extremely frustrating and very tilting, that I still get to play poker for a living. I still get to be my own boss. I still get to make poker videos for a living. And then also I get to play golf during the day. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. It's like mid-October, 75 degrees, not a cloud in sight. But yeah, still frustrating. Gonna try to take out some aggression on these golf balls later on. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see ya.